Hello and welcome to my little corner of the world. My name is Gabby and I'm here to find little ways to be creative in my everyday life and share that journey with you. So today is National Houseplant Day. Most people probably haven't heard of it. I hadn't before I started researching this video, but it really resonated with me because I have a lot of houseplants. I'm one of those people who aspires to live in a home where every square inch is covered in houseplants. I thought it'd be fun to appreciate my plants by doing a painting of every one of them. Just as a disclaimer, this is not a tutorial. I just started painting with gouache maybe about 2 years ago. I've learned a lot through different tutorials and videos, but I don't know everything about it. This video is primarily just me sharing my process and then sharing what I have learned in the past and then what I learned through doing this painting today. Right now, my houseplants are looking a little rough because it is our first winter in this house, and so we're still trying to figure out where exactly they are the happiest. But the healthiest plant in my house right now is my lucky bamboo. So here she is. I know it says garlic. This is just a recycled garlic container. So that's what we're gonna paint today. Okay, so I am using Arches watercolor paper. It's the cold press paper. I took one of these sheets and I cut it in half, so that's what we're gonna be using. I've got some painter's tape that I'll tape it down with. I don't like this color. It's very vibrant yellow, but this is what I have for now. I'll get some nicer, prettier tape later on. There we go. Here we've got the paint that I'm going to be using today. We've got a couple of partially clean palettes because I hate wasting paint. We've got our partially used paper towels. We've got 3 different containers of water. I like using one for cool colors, one for warm colors, and then one for dipping clean paintbrushes into so that the colors don't get muddied. And we've got some paintbrushes. So I'll show you specifically what we're using. So first we're going to start out with sketching our bamboo plant. I never know whether I've sketched too much. I feel like I put a lot of detail into these sketches, which is unnecessary because it's about to be covered in paint. But anyways, I just did a few extra lines that don't need to be in there, so I'm just cleaning those up. I did realize that I don't know how to paint glass, so this may have been a mistake. We might need to look at a few tutorials and figure out how I'm going to do that, but yeah. Okay, so first off, let's pick out the paint colors. These are the paints I'm using, Winsor & Newton Designers Gouache. The background will be zinc white and yellow ochre, just a tiny bit of yellow ochre. I already have some white and some yellow ochre in these palettes. The bamboo plant has a little bit of a cooler tone to it, so we're going to be using the cooler green. This one is Permanent Green Middle. To lighten it up a little bit, I'll also add the primary yellow and the white. And then we've also got some pieces that are dried out, as you can see here. And we're going to use probably the yellow ochre for that as well as the white. these are the 4 colors that we're going to use for now. And then for the brushes we're going to be using, these are watercolor brushes. I would like to get some mixed media brushes eventually, but for right now, this is what I've got. So I'm going to be working with these brushes. Oh, I forget the name of them. I'll put it on screen. This one's a size 10, it looks like. Not sure what this one is, but yeah, these are the brushes I'll be using for the plant. And then for the background, this is a size 22 flat brush, and that's what we will be using for the background. I might use a smaller size depending on how I see it going, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start with a background. So we're going to do our best to just go around everything that I've drawn out, and then we'll go from there. Everything to me seems to dry darker, so I just err on the lighter side of things. I mentioned that I want to get mixed media brushes. I just find that watercolor brushes are picking up too much water and also retaining the paint inside the brush. When I'm trying to paint and I happen to pick up a lot of paint, I feel like I'm wasting a lot of paint in the brush because the brush is retaining so much. But then also when I try and dip my brush into water to try and mix the colors, I'm picking up too much water. But like I said, this is what I have, and I like working with what I've got until I can actually afford to get something else. Something that I wanted to bring up too is this channel, I'm hoping, will be not only a motivation for myself to take more opportunities to be creative and try the things I've been wanting to try and finish projects I haven't finished, but I'm hoping that it also will be an inspiration for other people, not inspiration, motivation for other people to also find ways to be creative in their life if that's something that they've been looking to do. So I hope that people will maybe even want to join me and do something creative together. I'm saying that because I mentioned earlier that I am using the things that I have until I can afford other things. But I don't have the right equipment as an excuse to not be creative in the past. And so I've started allowing myself to not necessarily be seeking perfection when I'm creating anymore, and just do it for the fun of it. I'm here to learn, but that doesn't mean that it has to be perfect. I can still do the thing with the equipment that I have. Perfection definitely gets in the way of us trying new things and doing things that we will potentially enjoy. It's something that I've really struggled with, so I just wanted to share that thought in case it resonates with somebody. Okay, so it doesn't really come across in the camera, but I kind of like how this looks kind of like a stucco wall, but I do want to add a shadow to the bottom, so I'm going to do that with some black paint. This is ivory black. I guess we'll just stick with that for now. Maybe we'll revisit that. Okay, so obviously it is a new day. I got a migraine, so we had to take a break, and that break was a little longer than expected, but we're back and we're gonna get started on painting the actual plant. I also have this website that I found, and I will link it in the description below, but It goes through how to paint houseplants with acrylic gouache. I don't have acrylic gouache, I just have gouache. So this is a little different of a medium, but I still found it useful. So I'm going to be kind of using that guide to guide me through the rest of my painting, and we'll see how it goes. If we look at my plant, there's the base colors of the garlic container, which are like a very baby light yellow and a cool toned blue. Then the glass, which I don't know, gray-white. I've established I don't know how to paint glass. So we'll get started with those. I'll use a primary blue for that blue part of the container. And then I want to make it a little green. So we're going to use a cool toned yellow, the primary yellow. We'll start there and then we'll go on to the soil in a little bit. I realized I forgot to talk about this background. I added the shadow. It's not a great shadow. I know I probably shouldn't have added black to do the shadow. I was just kind of being lazy and hoping that it would work. I need to kind of look into the color theory of shadows. I know the basics. I know the general rules, but I'd like to get better at doing, at creating like the gradients from light to shadow and knowing what colors to add. Obviously I need to look into it, but it's not perfect, but it'll do for now. My main focus is the plant. I think in order to do these shapes, this brush is going to be easier to use. This is an angled brush. It's just easier for me to get those details in if I have that angle. So I'm gonna try this angled brush for this. Maybe the angled brush was a mistake. I keep on making lines a little thicker than I would like. I don't have the steadiest hand, so lines are also not as straight as I would like. So something that I know is going to be a challenge for me with this painting is that I have been trained to do more realistic art, and although I really enjoy doing realistic art, I wouldn't say it's my forte. And I also would like to kind of get away from that a little bit. I would like to find more ways of being more loose with my art and also figure out how to do more cartoony type stuff. I find I get a lot of joy from looking at other creators' art and them doing gouache of like Studio Ghibli backgrounds and Disney characters and things like that. I want to kind of stretch myself, so I know that's going to be challenging for me. So that's pretty much dry. There's still some coolness when I touch it. I can also tell that it's too thick because with gouache, when you put too many layers, it starts peeling. So there's a couple of spots where it's already doing that. So we're not going to go over that again. Now we're going to get started with the glass portion of the painting. I found this website. Again, I'll link it below. Again, it's not the right medium. It is talking about acrylic, so I'm going to have to keep that in mind when I'm translating that to this painting. Because acrylic you can layer a lot easier than gouache. There's a bunch of differences between gouache and acrylic. On short notice, this is what I could find. So this website, step 2 is establish the warm undertones. So I'm guessing that includes the part with the soil. but they use dark umber or burnt umber to establish those warm undertones. I don't have burnt umber, so I'm going to use yellow ochre and black, and I might add a little bit of a warm red, so this is spectrum red, to that mix. I'm going to be going in with this number 4 round brush. I'm just going to try and make a dark brown color as close as possible. I'm going to go in and add this green, permanent green middle, and see if that gives me closer to the brown color that I want. Alright, so now I'm going to add some white to this mix and add some warm shades at the top, and then warm it up and add an even warmer shade closer to the top, because up at the top there's no dirt in it, so it's a little more translucent. It does say to use to create a wash with it. So like to make your paint really watery. So I'm wondering if I should just commit to that, see what happens, which I'm gonna do. Let's commit. It's looking confusing right now. I'm going to trust the process, see what happens. But I need a lunch break, so we're going to take a break, let this fully dry, and then we'll keep at it. Okay, so we are back from lunch. I thought that would help with my stomach grumbling, but it might have made it worse. So she's just going to be a side character for the rest of the video. We'll see how often she pops up. So the next part is to establish the darkest darks, according to this website. I kind of already established the dark parts of my painting. I'm just going to keep going. So it's asking me to use white and black and then basically make gradients from darkest to lightest. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in this tiny little palette, see if it turns out okay. I might add a little bit of brown to my gradient because my background is brown. But yeah, let's just see how it goes. I'm going to use my angled brush to just kind of create that gradient here. Again, this is for acrylic, so this probably doesn't apply very well to gouache, but we're out here doing our best. I'm just going to kind of take it out on my own now. I'm just going to paint what I see, because I don't really know what I'm doing. whites now, hoping that will help things look a little bit better. I just don't understand how to make something see-through. It's like that sculpture, can't remember who made that sculpture, but there's a sculpture with a like veil. It's a marble sculpture and you can tell that like the veil is see-through. It's over the woman's face. And I'm like, what? How? I don't understand. I added a little bit of blue to this white because there's a little bit of blue in the background. I don't know if it's the sky or the snow in the window or what, but there's a little bit of blue. This isn't looking terrible. At least not in my opinion, compared to what I've done in the past. So as far as the glass, I think I'm just gonna call this done. I'm pretty happy with it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Could it be better? Absolutely yes. Is it better than anything I've tried before? Also absolutely yes. So I think we'll call that a win. The next thing is paint the shadows. Honestly, there isn't too many shadows in terms of the container itself. I guess I could go in and add shadows to the background or to the base layer. So we'll go in and do that. We just want to get a little bit of that whitish yellow ochre color from before. And I'm just gonna make it have a little bit more yellow ochre than it did last time, and then add some black and make a shadow around the bottom. All right. I'm not thrilled with it, but maybe I'll come in and add even more of this white. This might be a mistake. This was a mistake. That's okay. We're gonna go in and add a lot of white to that. So I've got a new palette. Just making some room here. I know that green is going to be the main color. I'm gonna put the green in the middle. I also don't really know how to like use my palettes best, so if you have any tips on how to like distribute colors in your palette, and like if you have a flower shaped palette, like what colors do you put in the middle versus like how to move them into the different sections. Do you like do a gradient? Also, how do you do a gradient? How do you pick a paint without like mixing the paints all together? Let me know. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to that. I guess I'll add it over here. Okay. Also gonna add in some of this yellow ochre. It's very bright green right now, and I want to kind of dull it down. Okay, now we're gonna go in with the white, add some white to that mix, and then add that to the lighter parts of the picture. Okay, so I've added in the greens. There are some like dry pieces that are like a yellow ochre color, so I'm gonna go in and add those. Okay, it's not great, but it gets the point across. Looks great from far away. Now the next thing it says is to add the highlights. Again, I don't want to go in super detailed because that's how I usually go in. I want to go in with as much looseness as possible. So we're going to, where did my white go? Here it is. We're gonna go in and add those lighter colors and to try not to be super detailed. So let's do it. So bamboo is, I believe, a grass. So the veins that it has run parallel along the leaf. Oops. And you can see them in the light. So I'm trying to capture that without making it look funky, but I don't know if I'm being successful. Try and add some warmth to the leaves because they're a little lackluster. So I'm going in and adding where there's more warmth in real life into the leaves. Hopefully that'll make them pop a little bit more. So now we would add the shadows. So we want to make a deeper shade of that green, which we already have. Okay, so let's go in and add some of the darker shades. I'm going to start with down here, this piece that's in the back. I feel like some of these pieces of plant look very flat. I guess I'm gonna go in with more of that mid-tone and just like add some depth to them. It's not great, but it's there. I really want to go in with just a little bit of this white and add some highlights that I see. Well, I think that's it. I don't feel great about it though. I'm not really exactly sure what to add in here, what to do to make it feel finished, but we've kind of reached the end of what I can do knowledge-wise. Doesn't look exactly like this in real life, but it gets across the point. But there's little like husks. So we've done the plant. We'll call the plant done for now. I'm gonna go in with the glass colors again and fix up the pieces of glass that I painted over. I'm starting to get a little tired, so I might take some shortcuts. While we wait for that to dry, we're gonna go in and do the letters, I guess. Wish me luck with my tiniest little brush. Probably not the best brush for this, but we'll see. The highlights back into these pieces here so that it looks like glass over the plants again. Oh, we do need to add in the background, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. This is my solution that I came up with. That's about as good as we're gonna get, I think. It's definitely not perfect. You can still see the white of the paper through, which is, I know, an abomination in art. At least if you're not an impressionist painter. Obviously, I'm not super proud of this. I think the glass is fun. I don't think the glass is the best. I don't think the plant is the best. I don't think any of this is the best. The background isn't the best either. But I worked really hard on it, and I actually really tried, and this is what we get when we're learning. I'm pretty critical of my work, but I'm trying to not let that keep me from doing things, and I thought that this was a good way to kind of stretch myself and see what I can do. I'm now realizing that the jar looks a little 3D, so as I'm closing out, I'm just gonna fix that a little bit. But yeah, I tend to be like, well, I don't know how to do that, so I'm just not gonna do it. But then I never bother to learn, so I find that it's better for me to just do it and then have to learn because I'm doing it, rather than waiting for myself to get around to it eventually. So that's kind of the whole point of this channel, is just to motivate me to actually do the things that I've been saying that I want to do, and hopefully also keep you company as you do things that maybe you've been wanting to do for a while. I would like that to be how this channel works, and I hope that you can find some project or something that you would like to get started on, and maybe you can work on that while you listen. Let's just get creative together. Let's do something that maybe we're not going to be super impressed by ourselves for doing, but we'll at least have done it and we'll be proud of ourselves for doing it. Yeah, that's my goal. Okay. So I hope that you enjoyed this painting process. Let me know if you try something like this in the comments, and tag me in photos on Instagram at Gaby Gets Creative. If you liked this video, feel free to click the thumbs up below. It'll help me reach more people and grow our community. If you want to see more of me finding ways to get creative, feel free to subscribe. I plan on releasing videos every other Friday, and I hope you'll join me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.